Killua is a pro-Chinese support player who's part of LGD. He is the #1 Bard main on the Korean server, and thus probably the #1 Bard in the world. I've spent a few hours looking at his gameplay and analysing it, and here are some tips I've learned from his pro games in LPL and his solo queue games. So this first clip shows a good way to use Bard Ultimate to pick up extra kills at the end of fights, and then he uses his tunnel to get out quickly, baiting the enemy team in, guaranteeing him a quick escape, and then he follows it round in the fog of war, just to assist, gets that stun at the end, they pick up the free kills. This next clip is another early game clip. Enemy team blast cone over the wall, Jalvin Misfortune can't follow, Bard comes up, he portals over so everyone can follow. They get a real quick kill to start the fight off, which swings it massively in their favour, especially as the enemy AD carry is bot lane. They're then able to just clean up the fight quite easily. This clip is a simple dive with Bard Ultimate. As long as you're hitting either the tower or the champion, you can get quite an easy dive off. In this situation they hit the Zillion. They can dive quite easily with just one person tanking it, and then are able to follow up with the damage. Here, Killua uses his ultimate to disengage instead of engage, especially in this situation against Taric ult, which stops the Olaf completely, whereas otherwise he'd have had a Taric ultimate run into the backline. This is a stalling play, where Bard gets a double stun early in the fight, and then uses ultimates to stall the AD carry. He then portals out to stay alive, completely taking up like 3 of the players' time for the whole fight. And the fight's quite close, so if he wasn't doing this, it's very possible they would have lost the fight. Good stun positioning, good ultimate to stall. I chose this clip because it shows the way that Killua saves his ultimate sometimes in fights. This fight, he has it all the way to the end of the game, and he's able to use it to get a final pick, and also to push 2 people back into his team. You don't always have to use it as an engage. Here's some more LPL, showing a good gank route through that wall, especially good for blue side. This fight doesn't turn out so well for them, but it's a good setup, but it's just answered with TPs, which is less likely to happen in solo queue. So if you can get your jungler to do this, it's most of the time going to be good, especially with someone like Trundle, who struggles to get behind the enemies. This next clip is a way, if you're on the way back to your lane and your AD carry's in trouble, Killua uses ultimates on the enemies, separate from his AD carry, which lets the AD carry get out. Killua is nowhere near, the AD carry can just get out. They do continue the fight, which turns out badly, but the original disengage was very good. This next clip, the fight's already lost. They're looking for an escape, a very good Bard portal through this wall. They find the longest part of the wall. A good stun here that he misses. If that had landed, that would have been a kill most likely, and a potential for a turned fight with a 4v5. This is another very nice gank setup, where you're able to go behind the tower. You can ult the tower or the guy. If the guy dodges it, he dies with the tower not being able to hit anyone. If you hit the tower, then you get a free stun afterwards. Very nice clip, where as Onias is already used and there's a Karthus on the other team, Bard uses his ultimate to stop the incoming damage, and he's saved. You could do this with pretty much any damage that takes a few seconds to pop. This clip shows some good positioning and some awareness of the team fight. So Killua sees a big group of people at the back, he ults these 3 people, stops the Misfortune ult, and then he flashes away to get himself back to safety while that's happening. The fight can get reset there with a big ultimate to stop the MF damage and lock some people down for after his team's able to focus the guys in the front line. They end up winning the fight from that. This top lane play is a very nice prediction. The Thresh Lantern is thrown down, but there are 2 people who want to take it. So Killua predicts that they're both going to go towards the lantern and hit that he can throw an ultimate there, and that they're both going to rely on the lantern being there to grab it. So this is a very nice pick that could lead to a kill. Here's another good example of it, where he predicts a LeBlanc distortion back to the previous place. LeBlanc's already used her distortion. Let's get on to some solo queue clips. So in this clip, there's a failed engage by Killua and the Nunu. They realise immediately that they need to get out, so a very good Bard portal, which he saved instead of using during the engage, which baits the Echo in. They're able to stun him under tower and finish him off. Shows the importance of not wasting your portal, and if you're committed to an engage but you still have the portal, it's a good way to get out for all of your teammates. This clip, the AD carries are farming bot lane, so Bard is roaming up. He believes that Pyke can be around here most likely, as he doesn't see him bot lane. They get vision on the Pyke, and after seeing that his teammates are about to follow up, Killua flashed double stuns to guarantee these kills. A good roam timing, and he kept an eye on his teammates so that he knew he would have the backup for it. If he'd have just been there by himself with the mid laner, it would have been quite a risky play to make, and maybe portaling away would have been a better plan. Here's a very good solo queue gank setup again for blue side. You could replicate the top lane. It's good to get your jungler to stand and try bush, especially if there's only the AD carrying bot lane. You can portal right through. Bard can get a lot of damage on, the jungler can finish him off. Here we've got a pick that you can't really land a stun for. So he just goes for the slow on the Q and the slow with the auto attacks, and this just shows that the slow can be just as good as the stun sometimes for getting a pick. You don't always have to land that stun. This clip's quite a complicated team fight, so we're just going to watch Killua and look at his decision making in the fight. So they're running into the jungle to try and finish off this echo. They're getting flanked, there's people in front of them. Massive stun. So in this situation, you got lots of decisions. He repositions first. He's waiting for a stun to come up right here. He's not using it yet. He uses it to get a double stun. And at this point, he decides the best thing he can do is ult the Ashe to stop the damage, and that ends up with a very nice double ultimate. He stops the damage, and he also guarantees a pick on the Ashe after the fight if it's won. This clip shows a fight that's already won by his team, so he's using his ultimate at the end to get another pick, which just gives some extra gold and some extra time on the map. You can use your portal to get your team over to it. An easy auto attack on the Thresh guarantees the kill. He's not going to get away from it. You don't always have to land the stun again. Some more information about Killua's Bard. Build-wise, he likes to build Shurelia's Reverie when he has diver champions on his team, such as an Olaf, an Aatrox, or a Kassadin, that he needs to give speed to. That's his favourite item. If he's against single target divers, such as Kha'Zix, or any assassin like Zed, he gets a Knight's Vow. This lets him put it on his AD carry, protects them. It's less important to get the speed in that situation. Versus AoE damage or AoE dive, such as Karthus or Fiddlesticks or Kennen, he gets Locket so that he can protect his teammate from that AoE. And versus CC, such as there was a Zoe team that he played against which had Zoe Pantheon Ashe, which is a lot of big CC. He rushed Mikhail's Crucible so that he could get someone out of that every time it happened. Very good against Ashe, for example. He does switch the build up pretty much every game, but he does stick with the similar runes. He always takes Guardian, he always takes Font of Life, and Bone Plating is a good solid rune for his third choice. He takes Zombie Ward and Relentless Hunter. Zombie Ward's great on lots of pro supports, and Relentless Hunter's great specifically for Bard. He takes attack speed, magic resist armor, as you have a lot of damage already with your auto attacks with the Meeps. If he's against a full AD team, he swaps that to attack speed and double armor, which seems to have happened quite often to him, surprisingly. That's all the tips I've got today. It was fun watching him, fun learning about him. He's not currently playing on LGD. I believe he's been subbed out. There are lots of good bards in LPL, so that's a good league to look out for if you like bards. I guess they like fighting a lot and engaging. Let's hope that Killua comes back. You can always watch his solo queue replays at his account's last on the Korean server. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. See you next time.